Yeah. Thank you very much. Finally.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Let me
Thank
share it to
you
people
for
around
coming
me.
back. Yes. Thank you everyone for coming back. Thank you. It's so nice to have you all here. Thank you for joining. Thank you everyone for joining. It's so nice to have you. You're all welcome. Today is a good day. Hello, is it me? I guess seems muted.
I was trying to share the link, to people. Yeah, so I got it now. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's so good to have you with us. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. This is the Millionaire Teacher Show. Can I say a word for Miss Maria? Yes, Miss Maria was on the show. I think it was the third edition. Yes. And Remus is Miss Maria's student. So he joined us today to continue. That means you're really getting value from there when you can continue to join, to learn from other people's stories and journeys. Thank you very much, Remus, for staying with us. So for everyone that has missed any of the episodes, you can go to YouTube to catch up on the replay. The YouTube channel is Mary the Millionaire Teacher. You go there and you see all the other episodes and you get to watch and learn from everything that we've been discussing so far. So thank you very much everyone for joining. You can see our beautiful guest for the day. And I'm in Nigeria, but she's not in Nigeria. Don't worry, you'll get to hear the gist. So our beautiful guest for today is Adepeju Prince. I'm going to read up her profile quickly so that we get her talking. She's the one that will do the most of the talking today, not me, right? All right. So let me just quickly read up her profile. Adepeju Prince is an award-winning educator for over 12 years with experience spanning from preschool to K-12. She has worked with British, American, Nigerian, and blended curriculum as a classroom teacher, an early years educator, a middle school and high school science teacher, and she's a doctoral student and research assistant at Kent State University, Ohio. She is researching the resources teachers need to build resilience and develop agency in the teaching profession. So when you want to learn about building resilience in your teaching profession, she's the one to contact. She has a passion for writing and tries to create meaningful communication using salient issues by utilizing a column on agispeaks.com. She is a renowned public speaker on education, career, and the Christian faith. She holds a program on Fridays, right? She's also Instagram's Upward and Forward with Peju Prince Visionary. That's a program you don't want to miss. Every Friday, she has that program and she's always dishing it hot on. So if you've not watched it before, you should just go to our page right now and again start watching all those Friday programs. She is a mother and an aspiring global education influencer and thought leader. So if you want to know anything about global education, she's the one to hook up with. Our hobbies include singing, dancing, and taking pictures. Wow. So please let's give it up for our guest today. Wow. Yes, exactly. Hot. We've not started though, and the whole place is already hot. So you're welcome, man. Miss
Thank
Adepeju
you.
Prince. It's so
Thank
good
you.
to have you here with us. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. So the floor is yours. So tell us, please, from all that we've read about you, what inspired your journey into education?
Hey, well, I would say a sense of let me say jam failure because I wanted to be a medical doctor, and let's just say I didn't know that you needed to like, be very vast with needed to have high grades in jam, physics, mathematics, I guess biology, English, and chemistry. So the jam scores weren't just doing it. And so after the first attempt, and my father is a professor, so like he's a lecturer, so he doesn't know how to waste time. And then after the first jam result, it was like, this is the score that you have. You go to any course that this score can accept and leave my house, then you can continue chasing medicine from there. And so the score got into Adepeju College of Education, and I was given physics education, and I just felt, oh, I'm just going to do it because, well, I'm going to leave very soon, though. That was the plan then, to just do jam begin the next year and cross over to medicine in another school. So apparently it wasn't going to work because jam is just jam. And let's just say if you didn't pass that first time, it probably takes some deliberateness to pass afterwards. I did pass afterwards. I think by that time I was already in 300 level in physics education. And for some strange reason, the first choice of the school, the first choice university I chose that year, the only year I had the kind of jam score that would get me into medicine, decided to scrape their medicine program for that year because they lost accreditation. So they couldn't accept new students. And then I said, okay, let me try the second choice. And then I went to the second choice. And the second choice was like, oh, since we were not your first choice, the only course they're going to give you is education, computer science education. And I'm like, look, I'm not doing any education course. I mean, I'm not taking that from you guys. So I just came back to my undergrad, graduated, and just went for a master's in science education, and that was it.
Wow, wow, wow. What a journey. What
Thank
a
you.
journey. So you can see how destiny was pushing you
Mm-hmm.
into.
Mm-hmm.
And now do you still think about medicine? Do you still?
Oh, no, 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 no. Funny enough, at that point where I couldn't get into the university for medicine, because I had to speak to my father when I kept doing jam. Then he said, okay, this medicine, what do you really want to do with it? What career path? Do you want to have your own clinic or be? I said, no, I want to teach medicine. I want to be a professor of medicine because in my mind, you didn't need to when you're a professor of medicine, you don't need to practice medicine anymore. You just teach. So I wanted to be a medical doctor who taught other doctors. And then he said, what you're doing now and what you're chasing, the baseline is teaching. Just focus on what you're doing.
Exactly,
Don't push
exactly.
it.
So you
Yeah.
can imagine. So you can imagine. Your focus for medicine was you wanted
Yeah.
to teach
I wanted
others,
to teach.
not
Exactly.
maybe
Exactly.
because you wanted to practice it like
Mm-mm.
be in an hospital and treating patients and
No,
all that.
no,
So
no.
you
I
can
just
imagine.
I didn't like the hospital part because my mom is a nurse and we lived so my entire life revolved around all these medical professionals, a lot of the time. So I just figured, no, I'm not gonna like stay in the hospital for long. I'm gonna cross over into teaching. Then there was nothing like medical influencing us. So I just would just imagine myself as a medical doctor teaching other doctors how I get things done or how things are supposed to be done. That was just my idea then, even as a young person.
Wow, wow. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Too.
So now, reading your profile, you've gone through the early years, you've gone through elementary school, you've gone through middle school, you've gone through high school. Like I can say that you've taught different age grades, right? So now, can you describe your journey in teaching all these age grades, like how you started your early years in the teaching, and then where you are right now.
Okay, so I don't want to say that I'm led by my tummy, because a lot of the time the first motivating factor was money. To be honest. So when I finished my master's, actually, of course, I had a master's in science education, because I didn't take a break after NYC. After NYC, I didn't teach. I went for my master's almost immediately, at least by the next academic year after NYC. So the plan initially was to finish the master's and go into lecturing, because I still didn't want to, at that time I'd agreed to be a teacher, but I didn't want to teach at the lower levels, because the teachers were looking tired and broke, and the best they had, because I'm a deep thinker, right? So when I look at that project, all the teachers around me, the best they had was a 3-bedroom flat and 1504 thereabout. I said then, and I'm like, I don't like this part. The lecturers would go to conferences, they had mature students, they could sell books, they could sell handouts, they would travel. They used to travel back then. We hear, but Dr. So has gone to Botswana for conference. Prof. D's just came back from Accra. So I liked their own kind of teaching. So the plan was immediately after masters, I would go into lecturing, and I would just start lecturing basically. But I had to move from the state where I was to Abuja, and that was where the real issue started. So I wanted to work in University of Abuja straight. I applied there, did everything, the usual shenanigans of government work. I don't even know what happened to all those applications right now. They made me print 25 CVs, 25 copies of my CV. I was just everywhere. So I did not then, about that time, schools like universities began to change their policies that if you want to be a lecturer, you need to be at least in the first year of your PhD program. So they are sure that you're doing it. And I didn't have the money to go for a PhD program. I wanted a lecturing job. So when it was not forthcoming, I decided to get any teaching job anywhere, at least to keep, because by that time, the savings from NYC, the savings from masters, I worked a bit during masters. I was exhausting it. So I decided I was going to, and I started looking for a job. You would think that with a master's degree, that would be easy to get a job in Abuja, like a teaching job. That was when I got face to face with the bureaucracy in private schools. Like, they need you to have the basic, but you have to look like the culture. You have to think like the culture. If it's a British school, you have to have a British curriculum experience. I'd never had a British curriculum up until that point. I didn't know there was American curriculum. And my first question is, what are you guys doing in Nigeria and calling British, American, Indian? So schools weren't giving me a chance, because yes, I had the degrees, but there was no experience. Like, the only experience I had was, apart from teaching practice and teaching during NYC, was adult education. I taught primary school teachers when I was doing my master's as a graduate assistant to my supervisor then. So when the hunger was on a whole other level, I just started praying that, God, I want any kind of job, as long as I don't have to over-degrade. I even tried to look for volunteer, I didn't get. So the first school that gave me a job as an early years teacher, nursery 1 to be precise. So I just took it, and I was willing to learn. I like a good challenge. I had to do the Jolly Phonics, I had to do the British curriculum training, EYFS, the whole thing. And I discovered that it was a whole new world. So I immersed myself in it, and then the decorations, the way you transform your class. I mean, I have an eye for aesthetics too. So it just kind of resonated. But at the back of my mind, I wanted to really teach science and not early years. But as at that moment, early years was paying. And the school was, I was also married then. So the school was close to my house. I could easily move around, The thing with we ladies is that when it's time to start making career decisions, a lot of factors go into it. So it was close to my house. We were paying regularly. The money wasn't so good, but it was way better than being hungry. And they had a good work culture. So I just immersed myself in it, So that was how I got into early years. And then I began to grow. After the time in early years, I told myself, this is not what I want for myself. Because the money is good, yes. Because I moved from that early years school to another early years school where they were paying over 100,000 as at then, which was good money also. But by the time I got to that new school, I didn't go to that school because I want to be an early years teacher. I went there because of the money. I needed to negotiate better for the secondary school. And I had learned lessons that in the private sector, they measure your worth based on your former salary. So I told myself that if I'm going into a secondary school, I want to go into a very international school that pays well. But then my early year salary wasn't something I could bargain with. So I saw this early year school that was willing to pay over 100,000, and they are going to have, taxes, insurance. I said, good. So I went there. But by the first year, I was plotting my way out to a secondary school that, like I guessed correctly, used the former salary from that school as a leverage. They just added on top. So that was a motivating factor, actually.
Wow. 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 So that means if you want to advise someone, because I can really resonate with this thing that you're saying, wanting to teach sciences, but ending up with early years, right? Like I can resonate with it because I've been there in that kind of situation. Wanting to teach science, you just keep finding that they are taking you for early years instead because you are filling in the gap in that early years thing. So I really understand like what you said. And then when you said something about choosing a school deliberately because of the pay to help you leverage where you are going to is very, very important.
Yeah, very important.
Because sometimes, yes, that's leverage. We don't understand it. Sometimes you just find somebody going to a place, and there are schools that already have like a fixed amount they pay based on what you're coming in with, right?
Yeah.
But most of the time, it is based on your negotiating power.
Exactly.
And that negotiating power does not come if you don't understand the power of leverage.
Yeah.
Like
there's a whole nitty-gritty about it.
Yes.
There's a whole that one is another topic, another but you can tell that after the first school, I became very deliberate. In fact, let me just tell you. So after the first school, I lost an opportunity. And the opportunity was that I wanted to do a teacher exchange program abroad, and I couldn't find any for early years. Everybody wanted teachers who could teach physics, maths. I have the qualification, but because I don't have the proof that I've taught it on paper. So the plotting was even beyond the money. I volunteered to do free home lessons for people so that I can, for maths and physics, so I can familiarize myself with the current curriculum in science. And then I learned how to charge. I learned how to negotiate, because sometimes too, if you work in a school where you want to apply for international things, or even you want to go to a bigger school, they can't find the school's website. They Google the school, the venue is not coming up. They'll be like, which bush school were you coming from? Do you get? But there's a way you will call where you work, and they check it and they're like, can we afford this person? That was what I was doing. So that by the time I tell you this is the amount of, and then, like I said, I was doing home lesson. It moved from volunteer to paid. And sometimes when the parents want to pay, they just ask, which school do you attend? These are like very classy Nigerians, the elite groups. As you call that school, their PAs will Google the school where they are. You won't know that they're already checking you out. And then they check the Google and they just signal, yeah, she's working in a good place. So by the time you tell them I want 100K per week, they won't negotiate because they already know where you're coming from. So, but like I said, the skill of negotiation as a teacher is what you need to learn deliberately. Is why you'll be in a school, the same colleague, the same class, someone is earning way higher than you. And you're wondering, I thought we were colleagues. No, you are not. At the level of negotiation, that person did something you did not do. And that was the difference. Yeah.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you very much.
You're
Like this thing
welcome.
is really, really ringing in my head and doing some making some light bulbs to be going off, right? All right. So now let's move forward. Like in your journey, what were the
Mhm.
challenges you faced
To faith.
navigating? Yes,
Hmm.
the
So the
challenges you
first thing
faced
is that,
navigating.
technically speaking, I've only worked for bosses, or let me say school management, that are Christians. Okay, deliberately too, I didn't apply to any Muslim school, or like it was just deliberate, because to be honest, those like I'm talking about schools, like maybe Turkish international schools and all that, very wonderful schools, but they make you wear hijab, or they insist you cover your head as a teacher. You know, they pay well, and they are not like, you don't have to do the prayers every day like, you know, in school. But if you are not a Muslim teacher, you have to dress like them, because that's the school culture. So I did not apply to such schools, because at the level of work, there's a lot of contextuality to it. There's a lot of you that you bring to work. I want to come to work and come as me, not as something that I have to conform to because I want to make money. So even though money is a huge deciding factor, there are other factors that I would put around it. So and one of them is how I look and my mentality going into the office, right? So like I said, I didn't apply to any school that had an obvious religious constraint. Same thing for really deep Catholic schools too. You're not allowed to wear trousers. You have to say in fact, I avoided Catholic schools because I went to Catholic schools for my nursery, primary, secondary, and I knew the pressure of taking your rosary seriously, your prayer time, station of the cross. I thought I'm not dealing with that as an adult. So I just literally just didn't apply to that. And I still love Catholic schools, but as a teacher, I'm not sure I have enough capacity to work there. So I'm not saying it's like, if I ever get into Canada today, my child is going to a Catholic school, period. No negotiation. I know what I'm talking about. So I'm just telling you, but as a staff, I'm not sure. So, but going into all these schools, you have standing rules. You cannot impose, they call it impose your faith on children. So you cannot be caught praying with them. You cannot be caught teaching them the Bible. All the schools, and they are owned by Christian owners. But because they want a diversified student population, the Christian thing is not in your face. So what they do in the two places, it's only the third place we didn't do that, but in the two places, they would make us pray in the morning, and they would tell you categorically, only Christian prayer is allowed. So if you're a Muslim teacher, just say amen and go. If you're a free thinker, say amen. If you're worshiping traditional, like African traditional worshiper, say your amen and go. But the last school I worked was more, they had a more diversified mentality to faith. So even during staff prayers, they allow Christians, everybody to come up with that. We even had Indians who would say their own, forgotten, there's a way they do it here, but the first two schools I worked, they did not allow any other kind of prayer. So now that was still okay, because I would have done my own prayers out of the house, and I had a communication with the Holy Spirit throughout the day. That's not a problem. The issue now was translating that to my work, because you cannot separate me from Jesus. Like, the brand is Jesus, but at the same time, I need to translate that to my work. So how do I explain to a parent? Because it has happened before. The child was not learning, literally. And the child is a twin. His brother was doing so well in the other class. We had two arms of the same class. And I was in my class, and they brought the child to me specifically. I can remember the words. The mother said, the head teacher told me that you have the touch. I was just smiling. Yes, you have the touch. So whatever you do to this boy, the father has warned me that if he does not produce results this year, he will stop paying private school fees. He will go to public school, while the twin brother continues in private school. So as a mother, I wanted to open my eyes for that. How would you allow that? My mother, okay, I'm a teacher. I said, Ma, don't worry, God will do it. He said, oh, you pray? She said, oh, why not? I pray now. I'm a Christian. Oh, yeah, me too. I'm a Christian. I'm a Catholic. I said, very good, man. So this boy, at the end of midterm, because we do mini midterm reports, all these people were already writing conveniently. It was an early years class, and the goal was by the time you get to midterm of that class, they should have been able to write 0 to 9. Oga can write 0, then he will write 1. Then his 4 is the most ridiculous 4 I've ever seen. The 4 will be like this, and he will face up, like the 4 is like this. Then we put the stroke in between. I did everything I know in the book, including free extra lessons. And he can speak fine English. So I remember that time I started praying. Then Benny Hinn was coming to Abuja. He was coming to Koza. I can't forget that. And then my spirit told me, I said, well, Benny Hinn is a Jew. Alessa is a Jew. And Jews are the smartest. I said, God, I'm going to go into this meeting just once for this boy. I need a miracle, because at this point, I had used all the laws in the book. It wasn't working. So I remember to this bit, I had 200 naira. I sold it as a seed that God, the boy's name starts with A. Whatever you have to do, I need A's brain opened. That's the first request. You are the one who created him, and then his brain opened. I said, number 2, I want angels to come and start assisting me in class. Like, I have an assistant, but I need backup. You know, the way angels showed up at the, what do I call it? Wall of Jericho, all those things. I need, let them come and start teaching these children, even when I can't, because they were 18. So sometimes we are just running all over the place. Why are you doing writing our mark? It's always something. And that was it. I came back to class. He just called the boy playfully. I now did his hand like this. You are going to know what you are doing. He will say, yes, Miss Prince. You will know what you are doing. He will say, yes, Miss Prince. 2 weeks later, Miss Mary, I was minding my business with the so-called high flyers, because I just put him close to my table. Keep writing. I'll come back and meet you during break. And then the boy just came to me with his book. He had written 1 to 20, 1 to 19. I said, Chairman, how? I called my sister. Did you teach? She said, I see me, because she was with those who are really struggling. So she was on the other side of the class. He said, Miss Prince, he speaks very fine English. Like I said, I don't know, 20. Is it 20 or 02? Do you know how to start? So I had to teach immediately, then how to count in tens. Because the idea is you count in nines, you count in ones to 10. Then you do the 1, 1, 1, 2 to 19. Then you start counting in tens. That's 10, 20, 30, 40. So I taught him how to count in tens within like 5 minutes. Told him to go and sit. I was just still wondering what was going on. The boy came again when he got to 99. And said, so Miss Prince, I counted in tens. Does 100 have 2 zeros? I began to shout at that point. I lost it. Literally, I lost it. I ran to my head teacher. That my class was up downstairs. Miss Amdele, come and see what I see. Miss Amdele stood there and began to cry. The boy, I said, I don't know. I taught him, of course, with other children, but he wasn't even doing anything. When the mom came in the evening, so in the evening, those that they come to pick late like that, I would just leave some words on the wall to be reading while I'm writing communication book. I just noticed that the class was silent. The mom was at the door to pick him. This boy joined the so-called readers and was reading what was on the wall with them. Hey, Miss Mary, that point in my career, I knew I was going to be a teacher for life. I just knew. Like, it was wow. And do you know that from that point on, with that confirmation, I brought my face to class with full chest. I tell every parent, I'm a Christian, okay? But don't worry, I will work with your child and let's see what God does. All the way till I left Nigeria. There's a current senator I taught her daughter. And I just got to their house that day. It was during COVID. And, and she said, Mommy had this. I said, don't worry, Mommy will be fine. The doctors won't find any results. So it was just that boldness. Till today, my students think I have the touch, or the ones my last who called me a magician, because from where I'm sitting, I may not even be in the class. When there's something is wrong, I will just go and point at the person who did the wrong thing. And these were teenagers, so they will just be scared of me or something. It's not anything. So I noticed that you may not be able to put your faith in your face, but people want results. A mother who has a not smart child wants results. A parent who has a sick child wants results. So what do? You don't write and make or wear the Mountain of Fire top or Christ Embassy, whatever church, No, but there's a way you will show up in class, and they will just know that whatever this teacher is doing is different. And that is the Holy Ghost touch for me. I had a father come to look for me. Who is the physics teacher? Because my son is doing homework and that is rare. And he's doing it without asking me for help or disturbing my life. And this is like an 11-year-old boy, So faith for me is not something I just come and tell you, I believe in Jesus, you're going to go to hell. No. But you would see the Jesus effect. As a matter of fact, I will tell you one story, the last one on this faith thing. So we had this school. So I had this very wonderful girl, but she's, she's not wild, but she's very outspoken. You cannot keep her down. She's a Muslim and very prominent. Muslim that they don't even open their hair, even in school. That's how Muslim she is. And then one day she came to ask me this, that why don't I give her the same attitude like other teachers? I said, because you have a fire in you.
Using you.
And that fire is not going to be quenched by me shouting at you. It's you that will carry that fire out and express it to the world. When you start relating to the world, the way you're supposed to relate to the world, that aggressiveness will calm down. Don't worry. It's how do you know? I said, I don't know. I just saw you and I could see it like a movie. And then she came back again and said, but this thing that I used to see, how do you used to see it? I said, well, I'm a Christian. And I used to pray before praying because you guys are not normal human beings. You guys are children. And I don't know what's in your head. For me to teach you, I have to know. So sometimes, once, I just had to school her. You see, show people have a lab, but Jesus will show me small things, to help my life with you people. So we had a book fair. Do you know what this girl did? She looked for Ben Carson's books. Ben Carson is a Christian. I wrapped it with paper and bought it and took it home. I now saw her because I know her father, he will crucify me. I said, you're doing this. He said, you will not know now. I want to know what you are doing. I want to know how you are saying that thing you are saying. So, and I've watched Ben Carson before. He talked about this thing with Jesus. So, so let me just buy the book. He wrapped it also. The father will not say and took it. So, of course, she's still a Muslim. I still follow her on Instagram, but I can tell that there's one seed somewhere. God will meet her there. It doesn't matter. I mean, maybe 30 years time. But that fire is not normal, and I could see it in class. And because of that, I wasn't treating her like other teachers who thought she was aggressive. She wasn't. She just needed an expression, and maybe for now, she can't find it. So that's how I bring faith to wherever I am. I pray for results that work. When you give Peter 2 boats of fish, it's easy to tell him that Jesus is Lord. He will listen. Jesus was smart. So that's it. Yeah.
Wow. Results. Why do people bring their children to school? Because they're looking for results.
Thank you.
Results.
Yeah.
Results.
You're right.
Not just tell me I'm paying school fees and you're telling me that my child cannot.
Thank you. You just spoke like one of my former head teachers. She would say, Miss Prince, no parent wants to agree that the child doesn't know what they're doing because you collected the school fees and promised the mother or father a miracle. Now you, the teacher, will work that miracle. So if it means 10 days fast, you better start. Because these children must pass, and we are not going to pack their results. It will be real results. Yeah. So
this result thing, I can really, really relate with it. So it's interesting how I get to talk with different educators every week, and I can see a part of me in someone else because there are experiences that I can relate with. Imagine when you said this, it reminded me of a particular child that I was teaching preschool for a while, or I've been teaching preschool for like 3 years. And this particular child cannot hold a pen, cannot hold any object. He cannot. There were different things about. And when you are teaching, his mind and his face is everywhere and everywhere. But one day, something happened. The same way you screamed and you went. That was the same reaction. I screamed and I had to tell my assistant, please, video. I need to let everybody. I ran to the office, called
Yes,
our
so.
head of EYFS to come and see. Like that day I got my everything because I just couldn't contain it. Sometimes because of how you relate with your learners, you've prayed for them. You are seeing that there are results that you can't put in paper and pen, but
That's
you know
right.
that they are results.
Yes, right.
But you know that they are results, but you just can't put it in paper and pen. And you are looking for, God, how do I tell these people that there's been a transformation without me saying
it is
they
God.
need to, they need to see it, they need to know. And then you don't write your faith on your forehead to say, oh, I'm a Christian, or I've been praying and all that. Let that prayer, let it translate to something that is evident.
Yes,
To see.
Yeah,
So
it has to be tangible.
I can really relate with that.
Mm-hmm.
Please. Oh my God. Like, you said some deep things. People were just sending 100, like.
Oh my God.
Because they are really, really deep things.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the one time, like, these children, when they know when you love them genuinely. Your learners know. For that girl to gravitate towards you and all that, she saw that you were looking at her in a different light, not regular. Oh, yeah, Shebi, you paid school fees. You are here to learn math. Yeah, come and learn math. No, it's not just about that. It's not just about that. The other day, I did a post on object permanence, and I was trying to that post, because it's written, I didn't really explain it like I would have if I sat down and talked about it, because I've had experiences with different children. Why is it that a child that you've never met in your entire life comes to the school and that child just gravitates towards you?
That happens over and over, and I'll be just wondering how. That's why I must know that it is so unfair to treat teachers anyhow, because teaching is a calling. It's a bit more difficult than pastoring. The pastor sees you on Sundays. Motivational speaker sees you, maybe even if you pray for the class, right? But you are a teacher, you go there every day. How are you not boring to your own students? Because students can get tired of you and say, hey, oh, Miss Mary has come again. How are you not boring? How are do you have such a great influence on their mind? So, well, we are getting there. We are getting there, hopefully, in our lifetime, when teachers will get their worth just because of the kind of influence they have on children. Yeah.
Yes. Very, very important. But that, you see, the things you said, apart from the teachers getting their worth, like getting the value, you said some things that are not really projected in the teaching space. Like things that are values that you as a teacher need to possess or have. And these are the things that will translate to making a difference with your teaching. These things are not said like every day. You just hear training that you need to 21st century skills and all that. Yes, we know we need to have that. But these salient things, these like values that you don't come out to say it all the time, but they are very, very essential. Praying for your students, for your learners, very, very essential. And also praying for yourself, for the wisdom, be able to identify the need. Because sometimes what we think are the needs of these learners are not the needs.
They're not.
But you're
Definitely. Yeah, definitely they are not. Being able to diagnose, that was one of my side hustles back then. And God, side hustle said that God made people start paying me for it. I could just tell Sometimes after spending 1 hour with your child, what the problem is. There was okay, I'll tell you the negative one. So it won't look like maybe it's every time Miss Prince has results. They brought this child to my class. It was going to start grade 7, that's GSS 1. And what I do is when I'm meeting for the first time, you go through my diagnostics test. I need to know who you are as a person. I need to know what you know. If I'm teaching you math, what is the level of math? I don't care where your result from before. I need to figure out how you learn. So I know the person of the student, I know what they know about the subject, and I know how they learn. So how they learn helps me to teach you better, because I'm not going to come and teach everybody with the same PowerPoint slide. I incorporate everybody's attitude, personality into the PowerPoint slide. And this boy first I was at the reading level of primary 4. And his math was not there. His math was like a primary 2 math or primary 1. And then I asked the child, so how did you get into GSS 1? Simple. He has a rich parent who told the school, it's time for my child to go to GS 1. No common entrance, nothing. I'm like, what do you mean by it's time? And when he got to primary 6, somehow he got to primary 6. When he got to primary 6, his friends have all gone to those move from primary 5. They moved from primary 5 to GSS 1, and then he was lonely, and he told his parents he too wants to go to GS 1, and that was it. I said, okay, I will speak to the principal. So I went to the principal. I said, this boy is not ready. He's not even very ready for primary 5. He will need to go back to primary 6, number 1. And then he needs a home teacher that comes every day, not 3 times per week, every day. That home teacher will teach him the basics of mathematics and English, while the school will keep him in primary 6, and he will combine the two. And then he must do 2 weeks assessment, because he can pretend. You will think he knows 1 plus 1. He doesn't until you test him individually, not generally in the class. The principal there, I didn't even answer him, because I knew they would be like that. Working with early schools is funny. So the day they were going to annoy me, I wrote my resignation letter. I left the date open. I said, any day you are ready, just put the date. I will go to my house. But this is how I'm going to teach, because you need results. I need results. So he knows he can't threaten me too much. This boy went to shout at the parents that I said it wasn't good enough. The parents came to the school to shout at me. I just showed them all because I have, for every child, I'm that detailed, even though it's cumbersome work. In fact, I had to hire house help at some point just to take care of house. So I now showed them the file. I said, I told your son to add. See the results. I told your son to multiply. See the one I've been teaching him. See the goals I have for him. See my suggestions to the principal. And this also the parent withdrew the child and left. Principal vex from you and owner of school. Miss Prince, if you use this to chase his parent away, do you know who he is? Do you know what he can bring? I didn't answer them. The school these parents went to was a no-nonsense school. They took the child first back to primary 6 and moved him into and forced the parents to enroll him in a 2-hour class after school every day to cover up for basics. They could not come back to say Miss Prince was right. So a teacher knew about all the brouhaha and he said, Miss Prince, right? I said, I will always be right. In this teaching, no, I may not get it maybe too much in every other, but this teaching, I have told God, if any student you lead to me, that student has only one option, succeed. Because I see it as God handling you. I have the privilege to handle someone's child for 7 hours. Of all people in the world, that's a rare privilege. And I intend to make it work. So when I tell you, this is how I think we should make it work, it's from evidence-based. It's not I don't like your face, maybe I don't like the school, I don't like you as a person. In fact, I even want to love because maybe you are the president's aide on Media Matters, and I want to blow quick. So the more you love me, better for me, but this is your child we're talking about, and it's not going to work. When the teacher just said, wow. So when another parent, I did something similar. The teacher just told the parents, the students was having issues at home with the home teacher. And the parent was like, look, my boy told me that if it is Miss Prince, there's no argument. So just do your job or go and meet the Miss Prince and ask how she wants you to teach this boy, because in that school, I didn't do home lesson intentionally. So they will not say, I need money. Intentionally. I didn't do any home lesson for any child. I would recommend teachers for you, but me, I'm not going. So you won't say because I need extra cash. That's why I'm trying to tell your child. When they were done, the father came. He's also a senator. I came. I said, I want to see this Miss Prince because my boy held the home teacher by the trouser.
Wait, what did I do?
Held him by the trouser and said, "You did not teach me the way Miss Prince said you should teach me. This is the format you gave to me. Use it." It was a beautiful season in my life, to be honest. So yes.
Wow. Like our gist has covered lots of topics that I wanted to ask. Like I wanted to ask about your teaching strategies and methods. And just one question has been entering the other questions that I want to ask. So like on a quick note, right? Please, what advice will you give new and aspiring teachers that want to embark on this teaching journey? What advice, like in your years of experience, what advice?
Okay, first of all, let me announce a boot camp that is coming. A boot camp is coming in 3rd week of November, and it's for 2 days, 8,000 per person. So that is, and just like you said, I just sent like a memo out to some of my friends who can help with the payments, so that even teachers will still pay, but at least we can give scholarships to some people. So yeah, I kind of have that now. The first thing, and is for new and emerging teachers, that's the idea. The first thing is you cannot stop learning. You mentioned strategies. Till now, as I'm talking to you 2 days ago, I sent an email to my advisor that, please, I want to shadow a K-12 teacher in the US. Let me even see how they teach. You understand? So you don't stop. You cannot be shy. Miss Mary said she has taught early years, and they just gave you an early years class to teach, and you are on Instagram, and you stumble on this live. Why are you wasting time? If it is your 500 naira, carry and enter Miss Mary's DM. Please teach me how to go about this early years thing quickly. I have 500 naira to pay. I know it's nothing, but at least we pay for data for Miss Mary. That's what most people don't want to do. You don't stop learning. Anywhere in school, there is, nearly every school now has training sessions. By all means, don't attend because you need to attend. Attend because you need to learn. That is where some of us made it first. Number 2 is, when you are planning your lesson, plan that if somebody wants to pay you for that lesson plan. That's also how you learn. How do you teach these things better? I was talking about that I will add my children's personalities into the PowerPoint slide. How do you create a PowerPoint slide that does beyond words? Does it speak? Does it move? A slide. Does it speak? Does it move? Does it jump? Does it provide answers to questions? That's how you create a PowerPoint slide for more than one student, because they're not the same people. And then consistently have 3 sets of goals. It sounds like a motivational speaking, but it's true. Short-term goal, mid-term goal, long-term goal. My long-term goal was to I've not even gotten there yet, have education abroad, have opportunities, and discover that if you are not teaching in secondary school, the opportunities are narrower. So sharp, I have to translate myself to a secondary school. You see what I'm saying? So what is the long-term goal?
Hey, that's you talking to me, oh. Hey, that's you talking to me.
You do. What's the long-term goal? That helps you know what you can take now and what you would not take. Like I said earlier, I made up my mind that I want to work in a school that paid and is international. I have a reason why. When I applied for my UK visa, in my presence there, the biometrics guy Googled the school where I worked. Imagine if you worked in the school without a Google presence. It's not your fault, though. But just because you worked in a school that doesn't have a big reach, you will lose opportunities. So also, where you are working, you are not there to make friends. So please don't involve yourself in any office politics. You are there to either teach or learn. You are there to teach or learn. So look for that one person that collects Teacher of the Year every month. That's the person you want to be close to. It's not, you are not sharing food during lunch break or gossiping about your principal or vice principal. You are there to say, Miss Buki, that's how I left decoration. I told her I didn't have any idea of what British curriculum. Miss Buki, this your Christmas card is looking fine. Did you buy it? She said no. That's why I learned that there were different kinds of cardboard. Different kinds. The one that looks like already made, you wouldn't know that you had to cut and sometimes it was dressing. This teacher on the same salary was looking always, which she said, come, let me show you a market. Not show me one corner of the market where you can buy cheap clothes and still look good. So I really wish I could say this is it. But because we are different people with broad goals, when you find your goals, it's easy to look for who to help you with those goals. You can even start with a short-term goal. My short-term goal is to teach in a school that can pay 100,000, and then we can start from there. From there, your long-term goals will be multiplied. Do you understand? So, like I said, so I'm just going to summarize it for those who are coming. Don't stop learning. You are a teacher. You cannot stop learning. Who knew that Gen Z would be like this when we were coming up as teachers? Who knew that TikTok would be around? That's why you don't stop learning. Number two is when you are planning your lessons, your lesson plans should speak to every student in the class, not just words. A is equal to apple. What about A is equal to ambition? A is also equal to apple. A is equal to abiding. A is equal to ascension. L is for Lamborghini. Same thing, L is for London. You understand? So let your lesson speak to everybody in the class. And the third word, you are not in that work to play politics. There are only two reasons you are at work: to either teach or to learn. If you're not learning from your colleague, you are teaching another colleague. If you're not doing those two, you are in the wrong place of work. So, yeah.
Wow. Bomb, 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 bomb. If you are still here, I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. I'm so glad to have you here. I've heard you speak before, and it's quite interesting that it's not the same things I heard you talk about the first day I encountered you. It's not the same things you are saying. So it's not like a repetition. Oh, I already know this first day, feeling very comfortable and fly. Like, you understand? So somebody would have been thinking that, okay, I didn't. We've heard that story before. Like, what is she going to come and say and all that? Like, this is entirely different.
Thank you very much.
And the thing is that we can all relate. So your boot camp, please. We want to come and learn.
No problem.
Want to learn. I also want to learn. You know the thing about don't stop learning. Never stop learning. Something that I've always told myself a long time ago. So there's about me. I was a science student growing up, right? And I don't even want to go into the story of being a science student. But you know that I could relate with those in arts class and those in commercial class. Maybe I didn't really do the commercial, like the business part of it. Like my husband will accuse me, like, the administrative part of things, but the business part, like you're not gotten it right? So that's the part that I'm still like really work in progress. My work in progress, the work is very long in that aspect. But in the other aspect, what am I trying to say? I was always open to learning anything.
That's right.
I want to be able to sit on a table and any which discussion you bring, whether politics, whether finance, whether any, whether sports, I should be able to contribute something. And that is the gift of a teacher, right? That is something that teachers should have naturally. You shouldn't say, oh, that is not my kind of thing. For example, I used to like this who wants to be a millionaire, not really because I didn't used to think about the money part. I used to think about the knowledge part. Like just
me too. I love who was a good millionaire.
Then this other one this other guy is a foreign one that BBC Brits, they used to show it on. I've forgotten the title now. There are a lot of such programs where they are asking questions. Is it the weakest link? Yes, there was the weakest link.
I need to know about that show. I'm not aware. So, that would be nice to watch.
So you can imagine those are the kind of shows I used to love watching because I want to learn. I want to learn about history. I want to learn about. So these are things that teachers should embrace. Learning. don't just learn about your subject even, or oh, I'm teaching maths,
Mm-hmm.
so all I know or all
Mm-hmm.
I ever want to know is mathematics and
Yeah.
all that. To a point that someone actually didn't know that I didn't study English in school. The
Me
person
too.
thought.
They didn't know they study English, so it took them time to know.
Do you understand? So these
Yeah.
are the little things that I'm
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
excited about your boot camp. Please, I would
Yeah.
like to have a flyer,
Yeah.
right? So that
Yeah,
when
yeah.
the thing
But I had to get a team because it's something that I didn't want to do, but it kept coming, and someone just burst into my DM. You should do this, and I said okay. And it's like someone I really respect a lot, so I said okay. I would keep it a prize. What? Why is a bit delayed? Is my team is working on the flat that I want to have. I want teachers to have gifts because I discovered that teachers attend. They are beginning to come out and attend meetings and get trained, but you will teach this teacher, many of them don't have the kind of resources, to carry on what is in their head. So that's why I just want to let this week go. I'm trying to reach out to some people, see how we can get free data, we can get, gifts, so that even if it's one person or two, we can empower after this. You know that you can start. There's a world outside the four walls of the classroom. But to be honest, most teachers are not financially okay to
yes,
pursue those dreams. They are not. And by the time they are ready, there's issue of children, there's marriage, and then there's just things that keep entering into your finances. And to be honest, it's good to start your dream, but excellence is pushed with money. You need money to push excellence. You understand? So
very
yeah,
true,
so that's
very
why,
very true.
yeah, that's why it's a boot camp. It's not just talk, it's a doing camp. And those who do well at the end of that camp would have something, definitely. We're already
Wow,
working on that. Yeah,
wow, very true.
thank you.
Thank you very much. But
Thank you.
is this only for up and emerging teachers?
Oh, other teachers can join, but I would also have the topics open. So if you think that this topic doesn't really apply to me, it's 4 topics. You can just pay 2,000 for the one that applies to you. But yeah, but if you are new and emerging teacher, I would say you should just, or you want to switch your profession, or you want to switch your teaching, especially you want to go from early years to secondary, you want to go from secondary to tertiary, like things like that, then you may have to pay for the whole session. Yeah. Then it's also
Okay.
a way for teachers for even young career people to think about 2024, because the things that happened this year, I don't, if anybody is surviving well, they should thank themselves and their God, to be honest. And it's not just in Nigeria, it's all over. Inflation is off the hook. So rather, you need to strategize in a way that you also have pipes plugged into these things. More than one pipe. Salary is one pipe. You need more than one pipe plugged into it, and to get people to invest in what you buy or what you sell or the service you render takes trust. That trust takes a process. That process is what you will be taught, and that's what most people don't have. They will say, oh, I've been on this place selling this thing, is not working. I'm not the most popular person for now in the cooking world in Nigeria is Hilda Basi. People are not paying for her class because she is Hilda. People are buying into the Hilda Basi brand. That is the
Yes.
idea. Yeah, so building that brand takes time. I've been doing this now. This is the 6th year. I was just looking at my first post. Facebook reminded me 6 years, and I'm like, wow, So I don't want people to wait for 6 years. I don't want people to wait for 6 years. Yeah. So I just felt, okay, let me start. My idea was to finish PhD and start. But I said, no, if I have time to price my phone, like I tell other people, I have time to do other things. So that's it. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Thank you very much.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
very much.
You're
Please
welcome.
do share your flyers when
We
they
will.
are available
We
so
will
that we
when it's
can
ready.
spread it
Thank
wide.
you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you very much. It's been an amazing time gisting. Like this was just gist. We couldn't even really, if we continue with all the questions that I have down, this session will be so long. Like
I know,
we
right?
can't we can't
I
afford to
know.
do that, right? Thank you very much. I know you have other
Thank you.
things to do, and
Yeah.
you
Get
have
somewhere.
yes, we need to wrap it up. But just give us your final words, like your final words for everyone.
Okay, final words for me is that teaching doesn't have to be lonely. It's not a lonely world. So you need to create a world outside teaching for yourself. I call it working for yourself most times, but you need to create it. So if outside of teaching, what you enjoy doing is staring at butterflies, I'm just trying to look for the most mundane things to do. Create a life around staring butterflies. Do you understand? Just do it. And while you are in school, create a kind of ecosystem where you work that makes you so indispensable. There's no one that's indispensable, but good teachers are very hard to find. And I can tell you that for free. Good teachers are extremely hard to find. So create an ecosystem that it gets to a point you're no longer working for the salary. Salary fuels you, but you're working for yourself, using the school as a way to get to where you're going. Until you get to that point of your career, you will just be going to and fro and be following the motions. So create an ecosystem within the school and outside the school. Outside the school, whatever you do, ensure your life has something that you are excited to go back to. For Miss Mary, it could be an Instagram live on Saturdays. For me, it's usually I just take joy in dissecting people's content. I'll be thinking beyond when everybody is making us about something, I go behind the scenes. How did we get here? And that is how I've been learning because of the kind of schedule I have now. I've been losing contact with some of my mentors, but I keep going behind the scenes. So how did we get here? I would see the commitment, dedication. I will write that down. Currently now, my focus is I dream big. I tell myself, so if they place me in front of an American teacher to train them, do I even know their world? Because it's different from Nigeria. Do I know their challenges? What am I teaching? What am I leading them to? Because teaching is leading you from a place that you don't know to a place that you know. So I just send an email to my advisor, please, if there's any teacher that can allow me come to their class to just see what happens. I've been going for observation, but I was sitting in a proper class, not as nobody, just to see what goes on. And that's my new thing. That's what's exciting me right now. Because when I'm praying for influence at a global level, it's not just for Nigerian teachers. If I meet a British teacher today, would I have value? If I meet a Finnish teacher today, would I have value? So that means my reading should be wider. My interactions should be wider. The things I'm focusing on should be wider. You see. So as a teacher, you need that. Just sit somewhere and dream big. If what you want to do is you want to be a shoe connoisseur, start from secondary markets. Just those old designs. I've seen them several times. I used to see them in Ibadan back then, in Abuja and Lagos too. Look for designer shoes, but they are old. You can create a life out of it. It's a love. I'm just using myself because that's what excites me right now. So if you don't find what excites you outside school, so if you join the group of gossiping teachers, they didn't increase our salary. Can you talk to me anyhow? I don't want to even talk to you now because they can't even see you on ground. You are either too busy in the school to finish or because outside there are other things you're doing. And an excited teacher is a proof producing teacher, to be honest. Yeah.
Thank you very much. What you said about teachers gossiping reminded me of something.
Mm-hmm.
When I left the school I was teaching, I told some people to write testimonials about me. And the support staff, I told them to also write because I realized that they were always comfortable coming to me to share their problems, their burdens, and all that. So I just said, okay, since I'm asking parents and my fellow teachers, like, let me even hear from these people. Most of them kept saying, Miss Mary is not that teacher that you will see gossiping with other teachers and all that. So people observe you. People observe you.
Yeah.
But there are teachers that that is part of their life goal. So you just see them in corners all the time. And I will be wondering, like, why? but I just had to mention that from what you said. Like it's
Yeah,
very,
yeah,
very
yeah.
there's things that you do, people are observing and they'll
Mhm,
say they'll
mhm,
say to you and behind you and all that. Then
mhm,
it begins to form who you are. Maybe sometimes it may not be deliberate or all that,
mhm.
but at the end of the day, you are already
Yeah,
forming an impression of yourself on
exactly,
people
exactly.
without knowing. Right? Thank you very much. Your final words were just like, what happened to your audio? I can't hear you again. I didn't hear you. I can't hear you again. Okay, okay.
Came in into the phone, so the organizers of where I'm going are already calling. Yeah, I want to compare a
Okay.
meeting. Yeah,
Thank you very much. It was
like,
so nice
thank you,
having you here. Thank you, thank you,
thank you,
thank you.
thank
Look
you.
forward to please do join on YouTube to watch this replay. All right.
All right,
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye.
bye.